Hi everyone! Welcome to Artsonia's After School Art Club. Today we have a fun art project from Miss Fortner, an art teacher from Texas. Hope you enjoy the video and don't forget to have your artwork uploaded to your Artsonia gallery.
Welcome, artists of all ages. It's Miss Fortner here from Bimfer Elementary. Today we're going to be working on one of my favorite types of art. It's printmaking. So I have two today for you. I have one that I've done in different colors, and I have one that I've done on a different color sheet of paper with just one color ink on the paper. Now this is not real printing with print block ink. This is just marker. It is so easy and so much fun. I love doing this with all my classes. If you'll notice in both of my examples, I've done something called Radial Design, and that means that the piece goes all the way around in a circle. I love doing these because they're really easy to do, and you don't have to be good at drawing if you feel uncomfortable or unsure about yourself in that drawing aspect, because you can do anything on these papers and make this print. It is so fun and so easy. Printmaking is a lot like stamps. You take your stamp, but you're actually carving it out or cutting it out, and you put your color on it and you put it on another piece of paper and you have the reverse image. This is so much fun. I love doing this with all of my students. For your printmaking project today, the materials that you are going to need are printing paper, pencil, cardstock, colored printing paper, a sponge, pen, styrofoam plate, washable markers, and scissors. The first thing that I did was I took my printing paper and I cut it down to about 3 inches by 3 inches. You could go a little bit larger than that if you wanted to. I made sure that the paper could fit inside my styrofoam plate in the flat part. Right now, I'm just drawing a design on my drawing paper. I'm drawing lightly, erasing if I need to, just any kind of design that you want. When you're done, you're going to take your drawing paper and put it in the middle of the plate where it's flat. I'm going to trace out my square that I cut out of the drawing paper very carefully. I am making sure that I'm pushing hard enough to see on the styrofoam plate. It is going to make an indentation in the plate. Once you've got that, take your scissors and cut that piece out so that it's easier to work with, so that you don't have the whole plate that you're having to use to do your printmaking. Once you have that, I'm going to take my drawing paper and put it on top of the styrofoam piece. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to push fairly hard, but not so hard that I rip the drawing paper. I'm tracing over every line that I drew on my paper. Now the point of this is, when you're done tracing your design with the styrofoam underneath, the design will be on the styrofoam. Now with my students, when we're done drawing pencil, 2 things we'll notice when we're done doing that is that you can see the indentions on the back of the drawing paper, and the indentions are also on the styrofoam piece. Now they're not easy to see, so you're going to take your pen, and I like to use red first, and I'm going to trace over all of the lines that I just drew. Yes, you have to go over this at least 2 times. So once was with pencil and the paper, and the second time is with pen. With my students, I make them do red and then switch over to a blue pen so they know that they have that indentation. The point is not to get the ink inside, but to get the styrofoam indented completely so that it has a negative look on your piece of paper when you're done printing it. Make sure that you're pushing really hard with your pen, but not so hard that you're making a hole in the styrofoam. The next thing that you're going to do is use your washable markers. You can't use Sharpie. Please make sure they're washable, otherwise it won't come off of your styrofoam. I'm also not using the tip of my marker. I'm using the side, and I'm coloring very lightly. If you do use the tip of the marker, it's going to indent in the styrofoam, and you don't want that. So, coloring lightly, as many colors as you want. The next thing is you're going to have a damp sponge, and you're going to rub it across your page to make your paper damp. If you don't have a sponge, you can use a damp paper towel. You're going to take your styrofoam piece, careful not to put your fingers on the washable marker, and you're going to place it down on the cardstock. That was the cardstock that you got damp. And you're going to push your styrofoam really hard. Don't put your fingernails in it if you have them. I want you to push with the palm of your hand or with the flat part of your finger. I like to lift up the corners to make sure that all of the color has gotten onto the cardstock. And once it's done that, voila! You have made your print. Now, I do this 4 different times to do the radial design. Remember, radial design makes it look like it is in a circle. You do have to go over your coloring again, making sure not to use the tip of your marker, only using the side very lightly. And by the time you get this done, your cardstock is probably dry. So wipe it up again with your damp sponge or paper towel. Push really hard, and you have your second print. I do this 4 different times, so I've already done it 2 times. I'm on my 3rd time, and you do have to color every time in between, so you get that rich, vibrant color every time. And there you go, colored print. The next thing I do is I take the sponge and I clean it off. I'm going to use my colored printing paper, and I'm going to color my styrofoam again, but this time I'm just going to use black. So I'm going over the whole thing, not using the tip of the marker or pushing hard. I'm doing it very lightly, and I'm going all the way around, making sure I get all the edges of the marker, all the edges of the styrofoam. And then you're going to take your sponge or your damp paper towel, and you're going to make your paper damp. You don't want it to be wet. If it's wet, the marker will bleed and you won't get a good print. So you only want it to be damp. And then you take your styrofoam, flip it over, press it down with your fingers or the palm of your hand, making sure that you get every single corner and the sides and the middle. If you rub too hard, it'll start to burn, so don't go fast. And then I also do this 4 times to create my radial design. And there you have it. Thanks for joining me today.